Welcome students to our online classes. Myself Ashwini Honkar is going to explain you the lesson Separation of Substance Part 2. In the first part, we studied about the index. Then we studied about pure substances, impure substances, impurities, mixtures. Then we studied homogeneous mixtures, heterogeneous mixtures, need for separation, principle of separation, and now in this part we are going to study different methods of separation. So first of all, churning. So churning is a one type of separation to separate butter from the milk. To separate butter from the milk. May you saw that your mamas are preparing butter from the milk. How they are taking? How they are taking curd and milk, and they are taking it in this type of machine, or they are taking it in a mixture. Then see the different types of methods, how the churning process is going on, right? What they are doing, see, it is the process of separation of lighter particles of a suspended solid from the liquid. For example, to obtain butter from the curd or milk. To obtain butter from the curd or milk. So this is the method, we are calling it as a centrifugation or churning. What we will call it as centrifugation or churning. The next method is condensation. What we will call it as condensation. So at the early morning, if you walk on the green grass, you can see a cold feeling, right? You can feel a cold feeling. Why? Because at the early morning you can see a water droplets on the green grass. So this process is called as a condensation. This process is called as a condensation. Even in home, if you see, when you hot the milk or hot the water, just keep a one plate on the top of the container, you can see water droplets. You can see a water droplets on that plate, and that process is called as a condensation. We can say that the process in which gas changes into liquid is called as a condensation. Condensation is the opposite of evaporation. In nature, water vapor in the air condenses to form its liquid form. The dew condensation takes place only when water vapor hits a cold surface. So it is nothing but when we will see air is condensed and form the water droplets, that is nothing but condensation. The next method is crystallization. So when we will heat some substances, we will get some crystals, that is nothing but crystallization. You can see here a solid substance is already mixed with the water, and it is stirred well that it will be dissolved with the water. Then afterwards, when we will cool it, we will get the same crystals over here. At sometimes what we will make, we will heat that, and afterwards we may get the crystals. The process of crystallization is used for obtaining pure crystalline substance from the impure substance. So what we can say, the process of crystallization is used for obtaining pure crystalline substance from the impure sample. Next process is sedimentation. So what will happen if you take a mixture of sand and water, leave this container for some time. Afterwards you can able to see that sand is settled down in the water and water remains as it is upside, and you can see this water is very pure, right? It is very pure. So this process is called as a sedimentation. So it is the process of settling of heavy solid particles in a mixture at the bottom of the vessel. So this process is called as what? Sedimentation. Next is decantation. You can observe the process of sedimentation here, when we will separate this water in another container without disturbing this sand, this process is called as a decantation. This process is called as what? Decantation. So you can observe the drawing over here, that when we will separate the water from that settled down particles, that is nothing but decantation. It is the transfer of clean liquid from one vessel to the other without disturbing the settled particles. Without disturbing the settled particles, or we can say sedimented particles. That is nothing but decantation. The next process is evaporation. So you all are familiar about the evaporation. When we will heat some liquid, or naturally we can say the water is evaporated. The water is evaporating and it forms the cloud, right? When we will heat such substance, you can see the vapors over here. That is nothing but evaporation. It is the process of removing water or moisture from the mixture either by heating on flame or direct sunlight. For example, salt from seawater is obtained by this process, this method, right? This is nothing but evaporation. The next method is filtration. So most of you are familiar about the tea, right? How we are separating the tea from the tea powder? By the process of filtration, right? You have a saucer in your home, and when we will take the tea in teacup, we are using saucer. So what will happen? The tea powder will be separate from the tea, and a nice tea you will get to the drink. So this all process is called as a filtration. In lab, we are using this filtration setup. So in this setup, we can say this is a filtration stand. This is conical flask. Yes, this is the conical flask, and this is filter paper. This is the filter paper. So with the help of filter paper, we can separate the particles from the liquid. The particles from the liquid, and we will get the pure water without the particles, right? So we can say filtration is used to separate solid particles from liquid by passing the mixture through a filter paper. So what is filtration? Filtration is used to separate solid particles from the liquid by passing the mixture through a filter paper. So the process by which two substances are separated by passing a mixture through a filtering device is called as a filtration. Filtration is commonly used in our homes. For example, after preparing tea, we filter the tea leaves. As usual, I said that we are separating the tea leaves or tea powder with the help of strainer, right? So during filtration, the insoluble solid is retained in the filtering device, whereas the liquid passes through it. So next process is hand picking. So when sometimes or many times your parents are bringing grains in the home, and it contains stones, yes, dust particles. So what you are doing? You are separating that stones from the grains. You are separating the stones from the grains by the picking with the hand. So this is the method of hand picking. This is the method of hand picking, right? Even sometimes the different grains are mixed together. They are mixed together. How you are separating them? You are separating them by the hand picking, because they have a same size. We can't separate them with any other method, right? So we are separating them with the hand picking. So what we can say? Hand picking, this method is used for separating small particles of dirt, stone, husk, etc. from the grains of wheat, rice, pulses, etc. Now the next method is hand picking. Then afterwards, loading. So loading, what is loading? You can see this is called as alum. This is called as what? Alum. So when we will or your mamas are bringing water, then they are using alum, and they are rotating alum over the water. They are rotating alum over the water. Why so? Because they believe that if the lighter particles are there, the dust particles are there, they are easily settled down in the water. So it is true, because when we will use alum, the dust particles will be settled down in the water. So it is the fast process of sedimentation. It is the fast process of sedimentation. We can say it is the process of faster sedimentation by the suspending alum to a liquid. To suspending alum to a liquid. Now the next process is sieving. The next process is sieving. So sieving is the process to separate bigger particle from the smaller one. To separate bigger particle to smaller one. Sieving is used when two components of a mixture have a different particle sizes. Sieving allows the fine particles to pass through the holes of sieve while the bigger particles remain on the sieve. For example, sieving of wheat flour, sieving of sand, and in construction sites. Now, the next process is saturated solution. So, what is saturated solution? So, when we will mix some amount of sugar or salt in this water and just stir with the help of the spoon, then it will dissolve, right? Add some more of sugar, again it will stir it, then again it will mix. Now, the time comes when the sugar particles remain, some of sugar particles remain in this liquid. So that time we can say now the water limit is over. Water limit will be over. Now it will be not dissolve some more of sugar. So that solution is called as a saturated solution. This solution is called as what? Saturated solution. So, a solution in which no more soluble substance can be dissolved at room temperature is called as a saturated solution. Why room temperature is important? You may say that, miss, we may heat this liquid and we may make it to be dissolved some more sugar. So that is a different method. But when we will dissolve sugar in this normal temperature liquid, so this is called as a saturated solution. Now, what is solution? When we will mix some any substances with water, so that is called as a solution. Any liquid or any water, that is called as a solution. When a soluble substances is dissolved completely in a liquid, say sugar in the water, a homogeneous mixture is formed. It is known as a solution. It is known as a what? Solution. Now we are going to move towards some different methods of separation we are using in big processes. So in that, first one is called as a threshing. So you can see the picture over here. So this you may seen in the fields, right? So what they are doing, they are taking a bunch of that crops, and they are taking it and hitting on the stone or some substance. So what will happen with this? The grain particles will be separate from the husk. Grain particles will be separate from this crop. So this is the method is called as a threshing. This is the method called as a threshing. So we can say what? Grains or seeds of plants like rice and wheat serve as a source of food. The flour that is used for making chapatis is made from wheat grains. After these crops have been harvested or cut, the grains need to be separated from the stalk. This is done by the method of threshing. So it is very important to separate the grains from the crops. The process of beating harvested crops to separate the grains from the stalk is called as a threshing. It is done manually or with the help of machines. So nowadays we got the machines. At the before time it was done by hand only. Manual threshing is done by holding a pile of crop and beating it on the rocks or a hard surface. This loosens and separates the grain from the stalk. Sometimes threshing is also done by the crushing the harvested stalk using bullocks. So we are taking the help of animals also. When they will be walk on that crops, the grains will be separate. So this all is the process of threshing. So next we are moving towards winnowing. So winnowing is the process to separate grains from the husk, to separate heavy particles from the lighter particles. The method used to separate chaff, or we may say it as a husk, from the grains by wind or blowing air is called as a winnowing. The mixture of chaff and grain is taken in the winnowing basket. The farmer stands at a higher level and lets the mixture fall it to the ground. The grains, being heavier, falls almost vertically, whereas the lighter chaff is carried away by the wind and forms a separate heap away from the grain. The separated chaff is used as a fodder for cattle. So, whatever separated lighter particles, we are using it as a food, or we can say it as a fodder for the animals. The direction of the wind plays an important role in the process of winnowing. So, where the wind is moving, where it is blowing, on that direction only they are throwing the husk, or they are throwing the grains. So, that time the grains and the husk particles will be separate. You can see the picture over here how the heavy particles and lighter particles are separated. Now, the next process is evaporation. So, already we studied in the uh, beginning that what is evaporation. This is the heating process. By the sunlight or by the heating, the water will be evaporated and forms cloud, right? And by this method we are preparing salt. We are preparing salt. Now, the next one is solution and solubility. Solution and solubility. So, already we studied what is solution. The mixture of some substances in water, that is nothing but solution. When some salt is added to a water and stirred, the salt disappears. This is because the salt has dissolved in the water. Yes. Dissolving is a change where substances mix completely with the liquid they have been added to. So, not all substances dissolve in water, right? For example, sand or mud. It will not dissolve in water, it remains as it is. For if you take sugar, salt, some other substances, they may dissolve in water. Only some substances are and are salt dissolve in water, like salt and sugar dissolve in water and are known as a soluble substances. So, which materials dissolve in water, they are called as a soluble substance, and which will not dissolve, they are called as a insoluble substance. So substances like chalk and sand do not dissolve in water and are known as an insoluble substance. The substance that dissolve is called as a solute. See, this is very important. The substance that dissolves is called as a solute, and the substance in which the solute dissolves is called solvent. So if you take salt and water, in that water is act as a solute and salt is act as a solvent. The resulting mixture is called as a solution. Thus, solute plus solvent form as a solution. So, sugar plus water is called as a sugar solution. So, if you take salt added to water, this is form as a solution. Thank you.